So unfortunately, I dropped one of my favorite Wet n Wild blushes, which is in Heather Silk. If you can see, it's a really pretty pink color, but I was so sad because it dropped on the floor and it shattered. This is only a few bucks, but I did remember one time I visited my friend and she started repairing her makeup, and I remember being like, oh my gosh, does that really work? And I never tried it, but I recently just fixed my Rimmel Stay Matte powder, which I had shattered. That was broken and now it's as good as new. So I'm just going to show you. I don't know if this is the right way. I'm sure there's a million videos on YouTube, but I just wanted to show you guys what I do. So in case your guys' blush or eyeshadow or anything breaks, you can follow these steps and get it back to new. So I know this is really gross looking and you might just be like, why don't you just buy a new one? I just feel like, why not just show you guys what I do in case you guys have a higher end product that actually got shattered or something. So all you're going to need is your actual product, shattered, a piece of fabric. This is just an orange t-shirt, and I use this for my Rimmel Stay Matte, so that's what this is. But just any piece of fabric. I just cut an old t-shirt that I don't use. It's actually the one I dyed my hair in, so I just cut a tiny piece of that. And then you're going to need alcohol. This is just 70%, so anything above 50 will be perfect. This is isopropyl alcohol, just rubbing alcohol. I got it at the drugstore, so this is like $3. This is the key ingredient, so you're just going to need this and the little, you can have a dropper or something, but I just use the cap that the alcohol comes with. A spoon or anything that you could kind of use to chop up the pieces of your makeup. And the last thing you're going to need is something similar to the shape of the product that you're trying to fix. So for example, this is a square. My other thing was a circle, so I used an old makeup compact. The only things I could think of that are somewhat similar to this in size is this Random perfume by Clean or part of this cupcake bandage box. So I don't even know if those will work, but that's not a huge deal. I've been using this Core's lip butter too, just as the circle to like kind of press into it. If you guys don't understand why I'll need that, I'll tell you in a second. You're going to have a flat surface. Hopefully you don't mind getting it a little dirty because especially with this pink pigmented blush, it might stain a bit. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up your product, just like so. And then you're going to take the spoon or whatever you have to kind of smash it up more. I know this looks so bad, but trust me, it's worth it. So I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. So you're just going to want to smash up every little bit of your makeup so there's no big chunks. Again, I know this is like so sad to watch, you're like killing makeup, but trust me, it's worth it in the end. So you're going to keep smashing it like so. So you're pretty much trying to make a powder consistency. Again, make sure you don't do this on something important. This is just some old cloth. If you guys can see, I pretty much grinded all the little pieces into a fine powder. You could do it more, but I'll just show you guys up close what it looks like. Be careful not to drop this. That would be really bad and a pain in the butt to clean up. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to take a tiny bit of the alcohol, put it in, the bigger the compact or whatever makeup you're fixing, the more alcohol you need, but I'm just going to put a few drops in the cap like this. I don't know about that much. And then you're going to gently put it into the powder. Like that. Okay, I know it looks scary, but now you're going to take your fabric and the shape of the thing. You're going to put the fabric on top of it, and now you're just going to hold it like this and press super hard onto your makeup, like so. Okay, that's not going to work. This is not the best size, so I'm not going to use this. I'm going to probably go back to using my Core's lip butter, even though it's not the best size. You're going to wrap it like this, and then just press into the makeup. So if you guys can see, it would be a lot easier if I had a square shaped object because the Wet n Wild brush is square. However, I don't, so I'm just making do with what I have, which is this circle of a product. So you're going to keep pressing. Try to get in those like indents, which is why it gets hard. You can then use your finger. I wash my hands, so it is kind of difficult your first time doing this, but trust me, it's worth it because the alcohol really does work. So you're going to keep pressing. You can use any sort of item. There's a lot of extra product here that I just feel like kind of fell out, which is just because this Wet n Wild blush happens to be super messy, but with an eyeshadow this may not be the case. So you're just going to keep pressing. Put in all the mess. Maybe get a baby wipe and wash your hands. Trust me, it's not sloppy once it's fixed. So again, you're just going to take any sort of flat surface and you're going to soak up all the alcohol with that fabric. But after you kind of soak up the alcohol, it's totally fine to just keep pressing with your fingers or something like that as long as they're clean. But this is just the key step because the fabric is going to soak up the alcohol. So I wouldn't use like a paper towel or a napkin because you might not soak the needed amount up, if you get what I'm saying. So as you guys can see, I'm just pressing. Sorry, I'm like out of the frame. Get any bit of the blush. Now, if this is a really expensive blush, you're going to want every bit of the product. I should have used the Rimmel Stay Matte because that was a lot less messy because it was a translucent powder. But of course, I picked the sloppy, messy one to film on camera, and it looks like I freaking threw up pink. You're going to want to take a baby wipe now and clean up your mess. Clean up around the edges of the actual compact. If you guys have like a higher end blush that was more expensive, you might want to spend as much time as possible getting all the little powder bits in. But since this was like $3 at the drugstore, I don't really mind if I don't get it back to exactly how it used to be. It is important if you do have a higher end blush and you want to save your money and not have to buy a new one to kind of get every little bit. Clean this part. And now all you do is you leave this to dry. So if you guys can see, it doesn't look as good as normal because it's still a little wet, but it looks a lot better than what we started out with. So now I'm just going to put this aside and let it dry for about maybe 30 to 40 minutes, and I'll come back and show you guys the result. Okay, so this is about 2 hours later. I just left it sitting for a little to dry. I came back and voila, this is what I am left with. So as you guys can see, really the same texture, and I will swatch it. And it's just as pretty and berry as the Heather Silk blush by Wet n Wild is normally. So that is my video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comment below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!